Video marketing, and primarily that's going to be on YouTube. It's something that is important for businesses today, no matter who you are. And there's a couple of reasons why. There's 3.25 billion hours watched per month on YouTube. That's a lot. That's a lot of eyeballs and a lot of people paying attention to what you create. So the content you create can be watched by a lot of people. Um, and the other thing is that it's a third of all online activity, and it's in 76 languages with YouTube. That's amazing. There's really not many vehicles where you can get things out there in many different languages or very different cultures looking at your work, whether it's in English or in other languages. So it's a really great vehicle. Typically, the YouTube viewer is 18 to 49, right? And on mobile, they watch it a lot more than broadcast or cable networks. And then we want to also remember that executives prefer video to reading text for a lot of their work. And therefore, having a video that showcases your product that executives could look at could be important. And you can use that link on LinkedIn. You can use it on Facebook. You can use it on Twitter, all over the place. So it's a really good idea to have a YouTube channel. Finally, it's the second largest search engine right after Google. There's a lot to be said for that. People look for how to do things on YouTube. When you look at user case scenarios or usability of it, a lot of us might have a DIY project and we'll type in something on YouTube to try to figure out how to do it. So that's something to think about. So we can look at YouTube channels as for optimizing for SEO and ranking. It would help us and our website to do better when we have YouTube channels. When you do that, one point to remember is that you should have a business Gmail, whether it's business@gmail.com or you have G Suite and you're using G Suite for your domain name email. So that would be business.com, right? So if you are using one of the two, it's really important because you can use that Google account just for your business. You don't want to mix the business and the personal. So that's just a good point to remember. When you are making your channel, you can make sure that it's used as a business. When you get to this part, you're going to have an opportunity to put up banner art, and so be thoughtful of that. It might be similar to what you have on your website already, but it may not. So you do have an opportunity to customize things a lot. And the other thing to remember is that your channel description, you can put in a couple paragraphs right here. You can put in your business email, which will help with business inquiries, your location, and put in links, your website or sites, your social media platform links, that kind of thing should go in your YouTube channel so that people can get a hold of you if they'd like. So when we do videos for YouTube, there's something called video metadata that shows up, and that metadata would be the name of the video. You want to be thoughtful of what the video is named. Use a keyword phrase if you can. If you are selling pizza and you are a local pizza parlor, you probably want to use the word pizza or pizza delivery or Santa Barbara pizza delivery if you're from Santa Barbara in the title of the video somehow, or at least your company name. You could use company name colon and then the name of the video or to create a title for it. But using keyword search terms is a good idea. There's also a great opportunity for the same thing in descriptions. So the descriptions of the video should mention who you are. Even if you've done it 10 times before on 10 other videos, go ahead and have a sentence that you always use that points out your business or who you are. You can do tags as well in your videos, and we'll take a look at how to do that. And then there's categories where you can name a category for your type of video that can help you be found. In terms of branding, there's thumbnails, and you can choose what thumbnail gets shown for your video when it's searched, and that's a good idea. And you can make playlists and use subtitles and use closed captions in case people have the sound off. So these are all things to think about with your video strategy and with who's doing the work as well. So here's an example of I'm making a video for my notary business on how to schedule a notary in Santa Barbara. I've written a description here. I've made sure the visibility is public, and I'm putting in a few tags that are common keyword phrases and words that are often used in the Santa Barbara area for notary publics. So I wanted to make sure those are in there. Here, I have an opportunity to categorize. There's nothing really for Notary Public, so I have to do people and blogs, but there's also a couple extensible things to take a look at, like whether you allow people to embed your video in their websites, whether it contains a paid promotion, etc. So it's a good idea to take a look at those things and not just like immediately upload your videos. You can choose thumbnails. Here I have the choice of a couple. I'm going to use the first one. That auto-generated one is just fine because it says what it is on the beginning. Also, there's analytics in YouTube, which is quite powerful actually. Here we can see that we had 90 impressions during the time period I chose to take a look at the analytics there, and 11 of those were views of the 90 impressions. So my video showed up in 90 searches basically in that time period, and I had a 6.7% click-through rate, which is pretty good, right? It's hard to keep that up over time. You need to keep on making videos. I'm probably going to have to do something similar to this video in different ways multiple times. But over time, you can really get a lot of play by making a good video, making good content, and people seeing it. The cool thing too is that there's this thing about audience retention that they have in YouTube analytics where you can see where people drop off. You can see these little dips where maybe someone dropped off in the beginning, more people drop off there, and then other people drop off there. You can actually track to the exact minute and second that that happens, so you can decide whether you need to redo it, right? If you had a drop off to almost nothing about a quarter of the way in, you'd want to remake the video basically, but you can find that out through Google, YouTube Analytics. So the metrics for YouTube videos, take a look at this. They go by the last 28 days primarily. You can filter by the type of content you have, whether it's a phone or an iPad or a laptop, your location or the different playlists, how much watch time there is. There's all these great sources of analytics, and they're important to take a look at occasionally so you can see where people are looking, why they're looking, and who is looking, most importantly. Because if you find out that you have a new demographic of an age range that you didn't expect, or a gender, or a geography that you didn't expect, you can exploit that for marketing purposes in one way or another. Typically, there are 7 types of YouTube videos, and of course there's more, but these are the typical ones. You have testimonials, your product demos, your how-tos. I also want to make sure that we think about thought leadership, right? Oftentimes CEOs that are rather charismatic do a really good job at talking about the issues of the day that have to do with their industry. So when it relates to your industry, go ahead and talk out on it. Elon Musk is probably a good source for that. But on the other hand, he talks about a lot of different things. He's not just talking about electric cars. And I think it doesn't always work for him. But there are plenty of other CEOs like, I'm struggling to think of one now, Basecamp. The Basecamp CEO talks out a lot about project management and the tech world. Well, that's appropriate because that's the world he's in. And that's a good thing to do in terms of thought leadership, right? Don't forget you have YouTube Live. When you're big enough, you can do that and run YouTube Live sessions, and vlogs even could be a useful work, but case studies are good too. I'm a big fan of storyboarding when you're going to be making a video. And what that means is that you just basically create like what your scene looks like, what the framing is going to look like, who's going to be speaking, where the location is. Maybe you change the location. Maybe there's some editing to be done of the video. But you want to take a look at these things and actually write them out and plan for it before you shoot. You can take this YouTube video and market it on lots of social media, right? You can use it on Facebook, on Twitter, on your website. You can embed it, you can email it. There's all sorts of ways to use your content from YouTube. And when you're looking at a content strategy, like if it was an upside down pyramid and you had an hour-long video and you broke it up into parts and used it as you go down the upside down pyramid down to the point, you would be talking about using it in many different ways. And you don't want to waste your time doing marketing efforts. So the more you can use little clips in different places, the better. And just be thoughtful of that when you're making videos. Here's an example here where I was able to embed a video I had made with a couple doctors at Recovery Road Medical Center, and we used it in their blog. It's just a really appropriate way to do it, and I was able to use it twice, basically, once on YouTube and once on their site. So that's a little bit about video marketing, something that we all should be doing. Thanks so much.